How's it going, guys? This is James from Butler Farms. I'm down here in the garden. It's late in the afternoon. Finally cooled off enough to get back down here, and I was coming down here to get rid of some weeds in between my rows. Had a couple of days off and didn't get down here, and got a little bit of rain, and man, the weeds have taken off. And when I got down here, I realized that I couldn't even get the weeds out of the rows because my tomato plants had gone crazy and needed to be tied up before I could do anything between the rows. So I thought I'd just share with you a little bit, a couple of tips of how to take care of your tomatoes, or how I take care of my tomatoes. There's so many different ways of doing it. A lot of people use cages and all different kinds of things. Guys, I plant my tomatoes so close together, and I have so many of them that I can't do cages. It just wouldn't work for me. I've tried it in the past, and it's more of a mess than anything. Now, for those that just have a few tomato plants and they're spaced far enough apart, then cages work fine. What I found, at one time I was trying to stake every single tomato plant, and I can't afford that either. There's just too many of them. So what I've had to start doing is my version of the Florida weave. Some of you probably have heard of that. And I'm gonna turn it around real quick and let you see what I'm talking about. The Florida weave basically works on the principle of, you can see the stakes down through there on this row, and these tomato plants were all out here in the row, completely laying on the ground, covered up. You can see now I've got them up out of the way, and these stakes that I use are made out of 3/8 inch rebar. And over the years, I just keep buying a couple of 10-foot sticks every year, and I cut them in half. So these are 5 foot tall. I drive them in the ground, so I get about a 4-foot stake out of them. And I usually put one stake for every, I guess, 3 or 4 tomato plants. And you can see that I've got this string running down through here on both sides of the plant. And I start at the end, and I'll come down one side of the plant. And I know some people do the Florida weave where they go in and out between each individual plant. I don't. To save time, I will go down one side, and then I'll wrap it around each pole a couple of times, keep going, and when I get all the way to the end down there, I will turn around and come back down the other side. And every time I come around a pole, I wrap it good and tight a couple of times around, and you can see that it holds these up. And my little friends here that are doing all this pollinating for me, they love it. They were out here in full force this morning. Now, so there's, you know, this is just the way I keep my tomato plants up. You can see on this next row, the line running down through there, and all of these big branches were laying down here on the ground. Now that causes several problems. Number one, disease. You don't want your tomato plants laying on the ground, and I can see that I missed a few that I need to go back and get again. So you don't want them laying on the ground. That causes disease. If your tomatoes are touching the ground, you're going to end up, a lot of those are going to rot. And to be honest with you, when they're laying all over the ground, I miss a bunch of tomatoes when I'm out here picking them. But this way I can see them, and you can see that how from the side you can see them hanging in there. I got little green tomatoes everywhere in here, and these bees are buzzing me. They're kind of mad that I'm in their area. You can see a bunch of tomatoes down in there that are coming on, and blooms everywhere, and these bees are helping me out with that. So it gets them up off the ground, and it allows me, when I got back out here this afternoon after it cooled off, this pathway in between it was completely covered in grass, and I've already been down through here and gotten that out. If you don't, it's going to completely take over, and then you got all these weeds and stuff competing with your tomato plants for nutrients and water and that kind of thing. And you can see, look at all the blooms there on that. That must be some kind of little small cherry type tomato. I actually forgot what I put in there. Now, one other thing that I do while I'm tying them up, and I can already see that I've missed a few as I'm coming down through here, is, guys, you got to get rid of these suckers on the plants. Let me try to find one. I thought I got most of them, and like I said, I know I missed some. A sucker is a little branch that's going to grow up in the fork of 2 other branches. I had one here just a moment ago. This is the start of one right here. And what's going to end up happening is this little sucker is going to do absolutely nothing. So I come through and I pop them off of there. Here's one. You can see the two main branches here. Let it focus there. And you can see buds on this side, and there'll be buds on that side. But this little sucker right in the middle, that needs to come out. And they will get very big, and they will, here's another one that's forming right here that I missed this morning that needs to come out of there. They will get big, and they will take up some of the plant's energy. They're not, every once in a while I'll get a tomato off a sucker branch, but very rarely. They're really not worth what they're costing you when it takes the energy away from the other tomatoes. Here's another one right here that I missed this morning. So you got to stay on top of it, come through, pop those off. It does not hurt the plant. And it actually helps the plant out simply because it allows the energy to go where it needs to go, which is to the main plant. And then you end up with those, which with the help of these bees turn into those. So a lot going on up here. We got tomatoes hanging everywhere. I wish the camera did it justice. It does not. Here's some of my tomatoes that I'm going to use for salsa and things like that. I don't know if those are Amish paste or San Marzanos. I kind of lost track of them when I put them down here. Here's some more of those. You can see them all down in there. Everything's green right now, but it won't take long. They'll be turning. So keep your tomatoes tied up. Like I said, this is just what I use. It's simpler. I don't have to drive so many stakes. And it's a lot less time consuming because I don't have to tie up each individual plant. I can just go down through there on each side and hold them up. And of course there's some branches I missed. You can see that one right there. But I'll get it next time and get it tucked in and out of the way. And it opens up these rows for me to be able to clean them up and to get all the weeds out from between them, and to also be able to walk down through there. So you got to stay on top of them, keep them tied up, keep those suckers, get them out of there. I have in the past, you know, you hear people say that you can put, that you can actually plant, now the suckers you saw me pull off obviously were not big enough, but sometimes you get some that are pretty good size, even, you know, this kind of size stuff, and you actually can plant those and they will form roots and they will form a tomato plant. I have done it in the past when I've lost a lot of my crop to different things. I have planted suckers and was able to pull through it and get the tomatoes that I needed. Now they were very late coming in, but I was able to get them anyway. So stay on top of your tomatoes, get those suckers off there, plant them if you want to, and get them off the ground. That's the main thing. You've got to get them off the ground. And you can see what that causes you. All these blooms in here that are getting ready to set tomatoes, and some that are already starting right there. Got a lot of work still to do. You can see back here with my peppers, you can't even hardly see them in the camera because those rows are so bad. But it only took a few days for all that to come right back up. So I'm going to get off of here and get back to work and get this cleaned up before we get some rain this weekend, hopefully. And God bless. I ask you to subscribe, like, and share. If you got any questions, leave them down below. If you got any comments or advice, I'm always open to that too. Always willing to take good advice. So this is James from Butler Farms. I'll be seeing you.